Caleb Plant, Jamal Charlo. They were co-headlining. You know, Jamal was the co-main, Caleb was the main. Caleb went against Resendez, and then Jamal Charlo went against Thomas Lamana.
Thomas
Thomas
Lamana.
Lamana. So, you know, it was one of those situations where you're kind of overlooking your current opponent. Like, oh, if these two guys win, then we're going to line that up. Jamal's like, yo, I want my get back. We all remember the video of the altercation that happened, and Caleb put his hands on Jamal. It looked like a slap from what I could see. But, you know, we remember that. And at the time, Jamal was going through a lot. We did a video previously. I think we were just alluding to this fight and like who we like in the fight. But fast forward, you know, I feel like the notion was, yo, Jamal better not mess the bag up. Jamal better not mess the bag up. So Jamal comes out, gets the stoppage, but Caleb is the one to lose. And Edgar Berlanga let him hear about it, but Caleb loses, right? So now, from your perspective, where does Caleb go from here?
Man, it's because if you look at Caleb's resume, he has a good resume, but he's lost to the elite of the elites, Canelo, Benavidez. He beats his last opponent,
Trevor McCumbee,
who's not really a notable name, not really a great elite boxer, you know, but decently strong opponent. And then now you fight Resendez, who's been, you know, has some great wins, right? You know, and the way he looked in there, I felt like he looked a little off, but just based off of just looking at his trajectory and resume, he's probably gonna have to start, you know, or figure some things out, because now it's looking like when he's at a certain level, he just can't win fights. You know what I mean? And he might just have to kind of go and take a couple tune-ups, right? Really see and find himself, really see, okay, can he make it back up that ladder? Because he's on his way into beating the gatekeeper, in my honest opinion, to the elite fighters. That's what he's looking like, you know? So I don't know. I don't know what's next for him. Maybe he fights. Yeah, I don't know, you know? I don't know. I'll have to see. There's a couple people I have in mind, but for me, I think he should probably just, you know, go back to the drawing board, figure things out, and probably take a couple tune-ups, not just one, you know?
Yeah. Stylistically, I think Boo Boo would be a good fight if he could get Boo Boo
I was
back.
just thinking about Boo Boo. I was like, there's a couple. Boo Boo's one of them that I was just thinking about, but I don't know if Boo Boo's going to stay at 168 because he moved up just to fight Benavidez. But if he stays, they both coming off losses, tough losses. That could be a fight right then and there, you know? So I was just thinking that.
Did this fight change your perspective against, like, obviously Jamal, but guys like Berlanga as well, right? So like guys that at 168, this is Jamal's first fight. So he's been elite at other divisions, but I think it's too soon to say he is the upper echelon of 168, even though I think he will do well at 168. Berlanga, right? Kind of like in that next tier. We would say, I guess we would say Canelo's the top tier. When Benavidez was there, Benavidez was top tier. But then you got guys like Berlanga, right? Jamal. So how do you view Caleb's chances against those kind of guys now? I know you say he should take a couple of tune-ups.
I mean, I still think he still has a good shot of beating Charlo, though, still. Even with that loss, he just got to be a little wary of the power, because Charlo fought Lamana. Lamana is way worse than Resendez, right? Like if Resendez would have fought Charlo would have probably been in trouble. You know what I mean? So especially with how like Resendez handled Jarrett Hurd when they fought, just his style, and then honestly, he had a great game plan for Caleb. You know, he took some pages out of Canelo's book. So I felt like the matchups was different, you know, in that sense. And I don't think just because Charlo stopped Lamana don't mean he would have did the same to Resendez. I don't think so. You know what I mean? So I think Charlo and Caleb Plant, they're still within the same realm, right, of opposition, and as well as with Berlanga as well. It's just my worry with Caleb now is he become a bit chinny? I don't know his situation. But yeah, I wouldn't just outright say Charlo's just above Caleb just based off that last loss. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I think that's a fair assessment. And I think in our previous video, what I mentioned is if Charlo comes back and looks like the Charlo that we know, obviously he'll have some ring rust. I think I said I favored him over Caleb. And I think this kind of just like reinforces that point. I think if Charlo could get one more fight under his belt, just to
Yeah,
like work
I need
off a
one
little,
more.
because the jab was still there, you could see it, and then that jab is followed up by that right hand, and that right hand, it looks like it still has power at 168. So I think if he can get just another one to work off some more ring rust, and he didn't look as rusty as you would think. He looked better than the Jose Benavidez fight.
See, I think in some parts of the Benavidez fight, he looked a bit sharper in certain sequences. But
Mm.
I would say in this fight, he was just more superior in the sense of like his approach. Like he seemed calm in there. He seemed
Mhm.
like he could do whatever he want. But like in terms of like punch combinations, I felt like he was a bit sharper against Jose Benavidez than he was Lamana. But
Yeah.
that's probably in part because Lamana was just backtrack. He just couldn't take the punches.
Mhm.
So maybe, but he still looked, it's still a progression. Still, me looking
Yes.
at it, I think he's progressing. I agree with you. I think he just needs to take probably just one more fight and then
Mhm.
he's good. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
someone a little bit more dangerous this time, you know?
Yeah, this was a good get my feet wet at 168. And he's another guy I would like to see mix it up with Boo Boo if Boo Boo comes back. You know what I mean? We haven't really heard much from Boo Boo, but Charlo, this is a guy like I had high regard for. Like when Charlo's at 160, now
Even 154.
yeah,
Yeah.
154 as well. But people always think about the now, but you got to think about like the moment that things happen, right? When
Yeah.
Charlo was at 160 and Benavidez 168, this is David Benavidez we're talking about now. And Charlo, like he proposed like he wanted smoke with David Benavidez. Ultimately, he did not. But at that point, like I thought that was gonna be a hell of a fight. It wasn't
Fight.
like I'm like this dude is bugging. I'm like, oh, this is
Yeah.
about to be a fight right here. So this is a guy
Yeah.
that was held in high regards for his skill level, his talent, things that he delivered. You know what I mean? So it's good to see
Yeah.
him back in the ring looking focused. I would say F it, man. Still line up the Caleb fight, man. They look like they may still line up Devin and Ryan, even though we heard this Devin and Tio thing, right? But it's like, why not line it up still? Unless you're gonna let Charlo fight Resendiz now, or unless there was something else on the table, you know what I'm saying? Because I know Caleb said he was interested in fighting the winner of that, so maybe Charlo was interested in fighting the winner. But I would say still fight Caleb. Caleb looks like he has some of the same flaws that we've seen previously. It looks like the gas tank, right? It just tends to like start failing him at points. Like he usually starts fights great, but like it's like the gas tank doesn't hold up. You know what I mean?
Especially when he start getting hurt. That's really what it be. When he gets hurt to the body, when he gets hurt, he just can't. Like David Benavidez, when David Benavidez is going to the body, hurting him early, is just he usually can't recover. Resendiz
Mm.
is on him. Like you could see, and even during the press conference too. Now I see why Resendiz is just so confident, calm, because I feel like he had him in his mind. Now, hindsight looking
Yeah.
back, he knew he had him. And Resendiz has been looking good in this, previous fights. So like, so yeah, it's this probably would be a great opportunity. Him coming off a loss, I think Caleb still got the experience to just jump right in with Charlo. Charlo's not like the Charlo we know, but he's getting to that level, and I think it will still be a great fight. And he still
Yeah.
got the punch of power. He got the great equalizer, and that will make anyone act,
And
act accordingly.
and bro, that jab is so good. Like it's not telegraphed. You know what I'm saying? He just whips the jab out there so nicely. Um, Always been impressed by his jab. Tough night for Breadman Edwards. I think Kyron Davis
Oh
lost as
my
well.
God, against Hernandez. And what's crazy? I seen Hernandez fight before. He looked a lot different in this fight, but like when I first seen him fight, I forgot who he fought against. He looked more like Boots-ish, like more like slick fighting, like he was turning, the Cuban style, but more of the American style. And I was like, oh, he's high. But this fight against Kyron, man, he was a monster against Kyron Davis, bro.
Mhm.
He destroyed, he was. And then when he dropped his hands and started like I
Yeah,
was like, yeah, this guy. I was like, man, like that might be a Hernandez is definitely looking shaping up to be someone to be, looked at the 160-pound division. You know what I mean? I know Erickson Lubin was I know there was talks of him fighting Hernandez. I would say Lubin better be careful. I'll tell you
yeah.
that. So
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't believe in Lubin, man. I mean, I don't believe in Lubin, but that's neither here nor there. Now I want to touch on a point though. You did say you think Caleb could still get in there with Jamal right now, but you didn't give me your thoughts on him getting in there with Edgar Berlanga right now. So what would be your perspective on
Mm,
Caleb Edgar Berlanga present day?
I mean, after that, the loss, I mean, I think the gap has like a little bit because Berlanga, I got to see how Berlanga looks in this next fight coming up. I'm not big on Berlanga, but Berlanga could crack though. He could punch, he's durable. That can go a long way, especially if he's throwing punches and bunches. Now all he has to worry about is just his conditioning, at that point. Caleb is more skilled than Berlanga, but that's not going to really win you the fight. It's really, I always say, people say skill pay the bills. I'm like, at this level, all these people are moderately skilled. You got to be significantly more skilled than someone to really have it pay your light bill. At this point, punching power, durability, gas tank, these are the forefront of what you need in order to really win fights or really give you a strong edge, because all these guys are skilled. It's just varying degrees. So I don't know. That's gonna be tough, man. That I don't know. Because the way Caleb looked in there, I'm still edging. Like if Caleb was to fight Berlanga, I think he'll get up for that fight and be more prepared. I think he can outpoint and win against Berlanga for sure. Because I feel like Resendiz is a different caliber fighter than Berlanga. You know what I mean? He throws punches in different angles. He's more of a tactician. I think Berlanga just tries to go in there and try to get knockouts. He's not really, you know what I mean? So I'll still favor Caleb.
Yeah. I guess we would have to see how Caleb holds up, what kind of pressure Berlanga can put on him. Can he tire Caleb out? I think Caleb's a bit too savvy, and like you said, I think he can still outpoint him. But it would be interesting because if Berlanga hurts him to the body or anywhere, I do think it might be a tough night for Caleb. But however, my thoughts on Berlanga, I still want to see him versus Hamza Sherez. I'm not sure. Like at first, I'm like, yeah, he probably lose that. I'm not sure Berlanga is gonna lose that fight. But what I do kind of feel, I don't think we're gonna be super impressed by the performance.
I agree. Quick question. If Berlanga was to get in there with Charlo now, who would you favor?
Charlo.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm high on Charlo. But one thing I think about Charlo, and this is going back to your point against in the Jose Benavidez fight, there's just like natural talent and instincts there that I think would carry him versus Berlanga. Right now, he looks in a better headspace. So I'm sure right now, present day, he's thinking the fight better. But like the things I'm talking about, the jab followed by the right hand, we both said on multiple times. Even though I'm not considering Jose a true whatever they fought because Jose is smaller, but the jab still looked good. The right hand followed it up. There was moments where Charlo looked like he could have stopped him, but he just couldn't really step on it, right? It just looks almost like, I want to say almost looks effortless. And I think that's just like the natural talent that's there. It's just there. You know what I mean? I think it'll be a tough fight. I think it'd even be a little ugly, but I do think Charlo would probably get him. I think Charlo probably puts him down. I'm not saying he stops him, but I think that right hand put Berlanga on the canvas.
Yeah, Charlo definitely got power. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. It was good to see him with his brother again too, man. That was a good sight to see. Looks like the Texas boys are back around. I know we've been hearing for a while that Mel was gonna fight soon. So
yeah, is he still training with Derek James? Because it seems like Derek James lost all his fighters.
He got Alicia Baumgartner.
Yeah,
and he just had Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia is no longer with him.
Ryan Garcia left him again.
Yeah, it's rumors that Ryan Garcia is leaving him.
Ryan Garcia
and Frank Martin is no longer with Derek James.
No, Frank's not with Derek.
Nah, he's not with Derek James.
Who's Frank training with?
I don't know, but it's an interview out that he split with Derek James.
That's kind of crazy because Jamal just didn't use Ronnie Shields either just now.
Yeah, they just firing coaches like it's the NBA. Get him out of here, like Tibbs,
bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I seen it's
crazy.
Yeah, I seen a post of it like split with Derek. I was like, what?
Yeah, so I kind of got to hear it from Frank though, man. Like
I got to go and look at the video, but I seen like two different story tabs on the reel of it. So I'm like, where's this coming from? But I think it's coming from Fight Hype. So I gotta look at the interview, which I'm gonna do after this. But there's a good chance that he's no longer with Derek James.
what I'm gonna say is, if Frank is no longer with Derek, right?
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that. It could just be a mix of business things because he signed to Errol, right? Even
that's
though
what I'm
I
thinking.
don't think Errol will block that because we've seen since the Errol Derek fall up, we've seen Derek James and Frank Martin. I don't think Errol will block that. But now,
Right.
if Jermel also is not using Derek anymore, then I think we got to kind of start paying attention to Derek James and try to understand what's going on here.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, he split with Derek James. Yeah, I just confirmed it. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah. So, but I think in his, I don't, I agree with you. My mind went straight to, okay, Arrow's managing him, so maybe, but they've always had that, relationship in a way like, hey, you do your own thing. It doesn't have to, just because I have an issue with this guy, boom. But the way things are going, I know it's the business of boxing. Like Ryan split with Derek James, or if he does actually follow through and go back to Eddie Reynoso's, which the rumors are, right? Because he went to Reynoso's first before going back to Derek James. I'm not sure if you knew that
Mm-hmm.
for the fight with Rowley. So if he goes back, is obviously going to be a different reason for why Frank Martin split with, Derek James. But seems like that is the case, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jermell Charlo splits with Derek James as well.
That's interesting. I want to see what Jermel has next. Dare I say, the winner of the Tim Zoo Fundora fight? Do you think they'll just put him right back in like that, or do you think they're gonna make him?
No, he's
Uh,
gonna. I think he might. It's up to him. If he
okay,
wants and take one of those fights, he's gonna go and take one of those fights. Absolutely, it's up to him. Former
okay,
undisputed champion, definitely, he's gonna go right into the mix. I
okay.
wouldn't think anything less of him because I wouldn't see him like what other tune-up would you take at 154? I mean, he can go and fight someone like yeah, I don't know who he will fight that I'll be like, okay, I gotta sit up for this. It got
Yeah,
to be like a fan-friendly fight at the very least.
yeah, I mean, he could fight. What's his name? Bakram.
Oh, the
I
one that
cannot.
stopped Tim Zoo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, he
I think
could.
that would be a statement win if you come back, you snatch the belt off of him, and you look impressive. Like, yeah, I told y'all this Zudu
I
wasn't
mean,
about nothing.
no, you might be right. You might be right because if he goes and stops him and takes the belt, and now he's like about to collect the Dragon Balls again, then yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And then you still got all these other fights. You still got, the Towering Inferno still
mhm.
waiting there, and then you still got, yeah, yeah. It could
Yeah,
get a little
yeah. I
exciting.
think when we hear some more news about him, we should do a Jamel Charlo video later on. When we get
Yeah.
some more news, some more confirmation. It looks like he's going to be back.